So I'm a filmmaker, a cinematographer, and also a music producer.
How is life like in Jamaica?
I had like this 10-second rule. It could be enough to make good content for Instagram.
Big collaboration with Malik Montana. So when did it actually pay you?
We started to get some brand deals from like CCC or I think the business comes first. Early enough understood the worth of my work.
Can you please advise how to maneuver the business side of it?
How do you stay consistent and professional across multiple creative roles? Our today's guest, Kevin, shares his insight and advice for current generation of artists. Why still the end to get to know the creator and learn how to bring your own ideas to life?
Welcome back to Behind the Logo, powered by Ego. I'm your host, Nate, and as usual, we have an amazing guest for you guys, and I'm very sure you're gonna learn a lot of them. And yeah, how you doing, Cave?
You're doing all good.
You good? It's a pleasure to have you here.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here.
And before we start, can you please explain us what you do and what people know you for doing?
So I'm a filmmaker, a cinematographer, and also a music producer. And I've been doing this for like music, like 7 years now, and film, I think I've been doing film for longer than I could actually count, but professionally, probably like 8 years.
8 years?
Yeah.
The music industry?
No, the film industry, 8 years, the music industry, around like 7.
All right, around like, it's probably around the same time, right?
Yeah, I actually started like the same summer, I had like
Yeah.
similar interests around that time, and I just locked in on both of them.
Yeah. What inspires you to start to be in the creative world?
Funny enough, like I think the one source I think inspired both of them. Like when I was younger, I used to watch a lot of like MTV Jams, MTV Hits. It was like this channel where you just consume pop culture. It was like American rap, sometimes some Jamaican stuff. They were just playing music from all different genres, all different styles.
Yeah.
And back then they used to put like crazy effort into music videos, and the budgets of the music videos was like crazy, where the music was good and you're getting introduced to like all different kind of music, and then the music videos are also like well put together ones that were actually published on TV. So I think I used to watch MTV like every morning before I used to go to school. That was like the one thing at 6 a.m. in the morning after the advertisement section. MTV Jams just came on, and some of the craziest new music and music videos. You used to just watch them before school, and I think that was just like my first introduction to this kind of thing, where I was just saying, this is interesting. I'll probably like try to figure out how to be someone who could curate this myself,
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, because MTV as well, like it was an inspiration for a lot of young people at that time to start something different, because we used to see a lot of rappers and a lot of even MTV Cribs and all of those good stuff.
Yeah,
So,
this MTV franchise in general is like
Yeah.
super big on pop culture.
yeah,
so.
super big on pop culture, and it's inspired a whole lot of generation to be involved in this music genres and all of those stuffs. And when you was young, like how did you guys grow up in Jamaica? How was life like in Jamaica?
I mean, Jamaica is an interesting place, to be honest. I think our culture is super based in music as like one of the core elements of just being a Jamaican. I think we consume a lot of music, and music is a huge part of just being Jamaican in general. Like it doesn't have to be dancehall. Older people are into like Christian music or gospel music. Like it's not only just what's popular, but just all type of music is in the lives of just like regular Jamaican people, older people, all different generations of people still consume a lot of music in Jamaica, even to this day. So, I feel like my culture is super tapped in, and it was always an integral part of my life since forever, actually.
Yeah, Jamaica. I'm from Ethiopia, and Jamaica is a little bit connected with
Yeah,
Ethiopia.
we got a lot of ancestry with Ethiopia, and also like Rastafarianism has a lot of connections with Ethiopia because of Haile Selassie. The Rastafarians believe that he was their
Yeah.
Messiah, or the second coming of the Messiah. So there's a lot of like cultural references. Even they use the Ethiopian flag as their symbol. So it's a big. You could go through Jamaica, you see Ethiopian flags everywhere, literally, because it's a Rastafarian thing. But the Ethiopian flag is super big in Jamaica. You would probably see them like as much as you see a Jamaican flag in Jamaica.
That's interesting. I've never been to Jamaica, but where when I see a Jamaican person, they always wear the red,
colors.
yeah, the red, green, and yellow colors, and you definitely know they're Rastafarian.
Facts.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. But do you? Is it a big following in Rastafarian? Like they believe it as a.
When it comes to like true followers of Rastafarianism, I don't think it's like that widespread. But when it comes to the cultural impact of it, I feel like it's we're super in tune to it. Like everyone understands at least some elements of it, even if you don't practice it yourself. Most people understand what Rastafarianism are, what they stand for. So
Yeah.
I think it's a very big part, especially our music. You know, Rastafarianism has a lot to do with reggae music also, and it's yeah, it's an integral part of reggae music and dancehall music too. So it's also still embedded some way along
Yeah.
with a lot of the Jamaican pop culture. You know, Bob Marley, he was like a famous Rastafarian also.
Yeah, when it comes to Bob Marley as well. First of all, who's your favorite artist in Jamaica
In Jamaica, like of all time or currently?
of all time?
Of all time, I'd say Vibes Cartel.
Ah, Cartel. Yeah.
So I feel like, you know, for other people it might be different, but just on the era where I grew up, I feel like different eras of my life I was listening to different type of Vibes Cartel music in my personal life. So I just feel like Vibes Cartel is just a part of so many different timelines of my life where I could say, okay, yeah, I could give it to him.
So what about Bob Marley? What do you think about
That's more on the reggae side because Vibes Cartel is more like a dancehall
dancehall
artist.
side? Yeah.
Bob Marley is more on the reggae dub side. So of course he's like the GOAT of reggae. Even
Yeah.
now he still has the #1 album of reggae.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
no,
really.
I don't think
Yeah,
no one
yeah.
ever dethroned Bob Marley from the spot of the #1 reggae artist till this day.
Yeah, Bob Marley. He's big in Ethiopia as well. He's big in Ethiopia, especially in Shashamane. If you know the place, that's the where the Rastafarianism movement
Okay,
actually
I
started.
didn't know that.
Yeah,
I learned something today.
yeah. So that he's very big right there. And after Jamaica, at what point did you decide to come to Europe?
I think it was around 2018, around there. It was like a summer. I remember I took like a semester off university. I was just trying to figure out like if what I was studying is what I actually want to study or what I actually want to do in my life in general. You know, for a long time you just do what your parents want you to do, following the way they think is the way to do it. And I was just trying to figure out what I want to do with my life for myself for the first time in my life. And I just remember that summer I just decided like I had some friends from Poland also in Jamaica, and I just decided to just visit for a short time, like for a few months, and eventually I saw that there was like a film school program here, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna try out for it. I started having some aspirations of actually just continuing my studies here, but that didn't work out because this film school, the admissions for it already closed. And I was just like left with no other option. And I just started to search other universities until I stumbled upon Vistula. And that's where I just decided to start doing computer engineering. Just off, that was like the best option there. And I was also super into IT from my previous studies. It was similar things we were doing. And I just decided to continue computer engineering there. And yeah, COVID came the following year, so I didn't really have a choice if I even wanted to continue studying or not. We just kind of got stuck in the situation.
So you just came here as a tourist, then you
Yeah,
stayed there?
but really as a tourist on a touristic visa. Then I just had the idea to just continue my studies. Then after that, COVID, and I was just here for too long after COVID. It was already like 4 years already. So I was just like, okay, I think I did enough during that time period when we couldn't do much. Practice a lot. Like even this whole COVID period, is when I actually started to practice a lot and work on a lot of my music, because I had a lot of time and I was home building my own little home setup and stuff like that. And I think during those times, I really started to lock in fully with the things I'm currently doing now, where I had enough time to practice and had enough time to experiment, freely.
Yeah, I think that COVID time, a lot of people, it was a negative side of it. It was a lot of people died, a lot of people, lost their jobs and all of that
Yeah,
stuff. But a lot of people also excelled in their career. A lot of YouTubers became a big YouTuber on that time.
I feel like a lot of changes happened during that time,
Yeah,
like negative and positive
yeah,
changes.
negative and positive change. And when you see the positive sides, like a lot of people have locked in on their dreams in that period of time because they have that gap of area which they worked from home or
Yeah, remote work really
remote work.
changed the
Yeah,
whole
change the
landscape.
whole
Yeah.
landscape. And yeah, you have time now for you to work on yourself and on your dreams. So you're saying that is the area that you used in your advantage.
The entire, I remember I used to have like a backpack, and even if nothing else was in that backpack, I had like my camera, my camera and my lens set up, had my ND filter. That was just literally the only thing I was, if I see something interesting or interesting shot, I'll just take, like, I had like this 10-second rule. If I could get 10 seconds of whatever I'm shooting, it could be enough to make good content for Instagram. So I'll just go out, see some nice light, something super cinematic. It could be like a machine in a corner and the light is just hitting in the right way. It's 10-second shot. As soon as I get home, edit on Instagram. And I was just making content like that. Not off any particular subject or people or models. It was just like day-to-day life and interesting things. And I just started to just practice, go home to see, okay, my camera can handle this kind of lighting situation. My camera can handle this type of darkness, or I was seeing where my camera worked best and what it didn't do good. And I started to just be more selective of the things I was shooting, because I knew the things and the subjects that my camera captured the best.
Yeah. When it comes to cameras and also using your equipments well, like what do you recommend people for first to do, especially when creating content?
The first thing, I feel like you have to have a good location. Location is literally like 50% of the whole job. Like, the location creates an environment in which your story is being told. So if the environment doesn't match a story, there's already a disconnect. And if the environment doesn't match a story, then people don't feel like they're immersed in it. So you really have to have, firstly, a good environment for what you're doing. And then, secondly, great lighting. So good location or environment, good lighting. And I think the camera is literally the least important thing. I think a lot of people, you can make a great quality thing on an iPhone 6 or iPhone 5. Like, I don't think people understand, like, you can make good quality stuff on low format or low medium of cameras, and it doesn't have, I still shoot photos on film cameras, and some of the best pictures I take in recent times, and those are super old cameras from the 1970s, old retro analog cameras still using film. You still make good work out of these. So I just feel like the camera isn't the most important part of the story. I feel like the location and the lighting creates like the whole cinematic vibe. And without this, I don't think anything else will flow properly. That's just from my own experience.
Yeah. So when it comes to photography or in videography part of your life, was you doing this back in Jamaica as well?
Funny enough, the whole thing behind me being a filmmaker really started in a weird way. I had a clothing brand back in the days, right? And I was doing like content for this line. So I had to become my own director at that time. Everything's low budget. Everything, you have a homie with a camera and you have to try to make everything count while you have the opportunity to like make some content. So I really went out of my way to find the best locations, find the best ambassadors and models for the brand. And throughout this process of just trying to make the content I was making for this brand to feel bigger than life, I actually started to use a lot of elements from filmmaking, and I started to just get in the role of directing myself until, you know, sometimes I would just borrow, like, even if the person who was taking photos or the videos was on set, I would just need like 10 seconds with the camera myself just to capture it exactly how I saw it. And I started to realize, oh, I'm kind of good with cameras, and I kind of have a vision. And everybody kind of pointed it out from time to time, like, oh, I like your ideas, I like your visions, I like how you frame things. And I had this one homie. Funny story about this guy. We were born on the same day, same year, same month, and we went to prep school together for like 6 years. And we were still like super close friends. And he's also a filmmaker right now too. So he was the first person I knew with a camera. And I used to walk to his house all the time just to borrow his camera. I didn't have a camera. I used to, because my dad lives here and his family lives, it's like on a country club. His dad lives like 500 meters from where I was living. We used to just link up all the time in the summer, borrow his camera, go around and just take a bunch of random nonsense. But to me, it was like the best thing ever, you know, like just to be able to practice, just to experiment. And that's how my interest in cameras developed. Like slowly. That was the first introduction I had with actually holding or testing or using a camera before I actually had my own.
Yeah, when it comes to, when you tell me this story, you know, when I think about content creation, or when I think about being creative in your own world, I think a person who is really interested in what you want to do, especially when it is coming from filmmaking, or when it's something that needs equipment,
Yeah.
you will find a way to find that equipment.
Not just only the equipment, you'll find a way. In general.
Yeah, in general, you
Just in
find.
general. That's what I'm saying. Like, most things need to be interest driven first, because without this passion, if you're really in it just to monetize it, you're not gonna have as much of not much of experience in general, and there would be no nostalgia to it to know like the feeling of taking some risk and it paid off with getting some good footage or making, because a lot of times I was using my own money just to make something work, even if I wasn't making any money back from it, but just to get the vision out there, just to get the right idea out there, and just to see that, okay, I invested some money, probably more than I could afford at the time, and then you saw the results of what you actually invested and saw, okay, this came out in the right way, exactly how I wanted. You know, the rewarding feeling of actually investing in something and seeing the rewards out of it was, you know, it's like the best feeling ever.
So when did it actually pay you?
Funny enough, it was right around the same COVID time when things started to like reopen. You know, clubs, restaurants, and stuff like that started to like re-emerge. People could start physically going there. They took away some of the quarantines and stuff like that. I think a lot of people are in like the process of rebranding themselves and rebranding a lot of things. And people are just looking for photographers. You see from time to time people are asking, looking for a photographer, looking for someone, or need someone to cover this. And I was jumping at every opportunity, even things that I never shot before, things that I had no interest in. I was just jumping at everything just to see if what I was practicing on my own could work in a professional environment, or if I could deliver consistently when someone demanded my work. Because most of the times the work I was doing was just based off my own interest, things that I found interesting, things that I saw based on my own vision. But I needed to now test if this knowledge that I acquired just by experimenting could be applied to a scenario where it wasn't only my vision, but I could make someone else's vision come to life, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I understand. So we were talking about the monetization, and how was you able to get some money out of it, what you was doing. So you was telling me about the COVID times, how the photography was helping you out a little bit. But when it comes to like professional career, when did it start?
Funny enough, I had a homie who, we were just hanging out, really, like we're just homie, but he was like a content creator. He's like the first real content creator I knew. He wasn't too much into it. He was just like known on TikTok, but he started in Polish Next Top Model. I don't remember which season it was or which edition it was, but he used to bring me on all the time whenever he started to get some brand deals from like CCC or Sprandy or Kazar. Those were my first campaigns I was ever doing, and it was because of him. Whenever he got these contracts or these offers, he was just making me his personal photographer. So it was just based on us being homies. We were just hanging out, playing FIFA as just regular homies, you know. But he started modeling, and I started to venture into like campaigns and editorial work around the same time. So we kind of just bounced off each other's energy. Whenever he had an opportunity or I had an opportunity, we just send it to each other's way. And that's how I started to actually build my portfolio and actually make income from this kind of editorial work. So my first editorial work was actually big editorial work because it was with
Whoa.
some, you know, what you would call it, known brands or, you know, respected brands.
Yeah, it builds your portfolio, correct?
Yeah, so I started out my editorial portfolio with like good work or good enough work with a good enough model with a great following or good enough exposure, so I could show my work when they reposted it or when this major brand reposted this work, you know.
Yeah, that's also a collaboration that you did with your friend. It's more like a connection type of way, but it's helped you to elevate your career
Yeah, yeah.
in that regards. That's great because I know that there are really talented people, but when it comes to business, it's a different whole type of game. You can be creative, but if you're not creative in the business world as well, I think it's really hard to monetize a creative world.
I mean, I think the business comes first, honestly. I mean, people like to think the creative aspect comes first, but around every industry, the business is always the thing that drives everything. And I feel like a lot of people can be stuck in being too creative that they never really function or like they never really focused on the business aspect of it. And to be a successful artist is not only to produce work but to actually monetize it to your best ability to have income from it and to actually be able to have a sustainable thing going on, you know. So I feel like a lot of people might focus too much on being creative and not actually being a business, like a business orientated and understanding the business and how to maximize profits, not only to monetize it but to maximize profits of what you're doing. And I feel like I early enough understood the worth of my work and understood that the more I invested in myself and invested in the projects that I was working on, is the more the value went up, and the better work I produce is the more I should demand for my work. And at some point you'll have to start getting into even the deeper side of the business with copyrights and, you know, right of usage of things and this kind of stuff where not just creating the work but knowing the parts of the work that you can monetize the most, because just taking a photo is one thing or being a model or being in a video is one aspect, but a lot of people make a lot of extra money by selling the rights to the content or selling the rights to the media to stock websites to places like this, and people actually do earn a lot more money from the initial job that they did from this kind of things like the copyrights or the license of the image themselves. So, you know, there are so many ways to make money and different ways that are not so popular but still lucrative.
When it comes to that, can you please advise any person who's going into a creative content but they don't know how to maneuver the business side of it?
In my opinion, I feel like, firstly, as a creator, you have to know what you're offering and you have to know where you stand in the marketplace, because a lot of times people make the mistake by overcharging or over evaluating their work when they're not at the level as their competitors or people who have years of experience on them who are charging similarly. Doesn't mean that not because that's the market standard that means you have to price your work. You have to know exactly what you're offering and know exactly what it's worth so everyone can have like fairness and get the quality of what they're looking for, compensation wise and media wise, if you get what I'm saying. So everyone must be equally satisfied from the transaction or the interaction, where you can also build some form of long-term relationship with the client, because sometimes simple misunderstandings like that can also break relationships with clients that are potential long-term clients, because building a clientele and building relationships is probably one of the single most important thing as a creator when you're looking for sustainability in what you're doing, because finding new clients is not easy, and finding people who trust your vision and trust the way how you do things might not be easy, or it doesn't come as frequently as you would like. So building this kind of relationship with even less, people always say less is more, but building this relationship with even less clients but a stronger relationship with fewer people can lead you to major projects and overseeing the marketing or creative direction of even some entire companies itself, just by building this relationship over years.
What about not knowing your worth?
Oh, it's a big thing too. A lot of people overestimate their worth, and a lot of people actually don't know their worth. I know a lot of people who are beginners who are charging crazy amount for their work, and they're being compensated as such, which great for them. And there's some people who have years on experience and they still don't know how to negotiate, put their self out there, or to present their work properly to people, where the presentation plays a huge part in this. And if you don't know how to market your work, as I said, talent is one thing, but the business part of it, creating a good portfolio, networking with people, and reaching out to people also is an integral part of all of this. I see people who have way less talent than some people who mastered the business side of it, and they're super successful. You don't have to be the master, the greatest, or the most creative. You have to position yourself a lot of times and be strategic with what you're doing. You have to be intentional about what you're doing a lot of times.
Yeah, that pretty much makes sense, because you would see some artists, they are very talented. You know them in a low, but they're very talented. They could be much bigger than they are in the business standpoint, and they're just not there yet, because probably their management team is not putting them in the level they should be when it comes to like negotiating some certain type of deals.
I've seen that many times.
Yeah, when it comes to other artists, you can see that some artists, they don't have that kind of art creative style, which is in a bigger scale, but the business side of it and the marketing side of it is really large and really experienced way, and they monetize their work like really fast, really quickly.
Yeah, the funny thing about media too is the boring jobs that pays the most. People don't understand that, because it's the boring jobs, and the boring jobs are usually the bigger clients too. The bigger clients, they have a marketing budget, and if you're smart enough, you'll be able to know how to present your work to them, so they understand that each aspect of this job requires this amount of budget or this amount of money for this specific thing. And most of the times, because they already have a marketing budget set aside, they don't really second guess your judgment. They really just agree to it, and they're super simple and not problematic. Whereas some other persons or other companies who are on a smaller scale might have a less, sizable budget, and they might want to take more creative control on the project and oversee it more directly, where, they want things to be bigger than life or more creative to build their audience. But already established companies with marketing budgets, they really don't want much. They just have a consistent way how they market, and they just do it through repetition and minimalistic stuff. It's not bigger than life or exaggerated. It's just simple. And, you could lock in big clients like these, and even one client like that could be sufficient as a filmmaker.
Yeah. And when it comes, we're still talking about your filmmaking. So I know that you have done this big collaboration with Malik Montana, which is a Polish/German artist. He's a big he's a big European artist. If you don't know him, we will play some clips of him on the screen. And how did that kind of collaborations came about? Like, I know you worked with big brands, but that kind of individual artists which are big, it's I want to know how the process went.
Funny enough, music and film kind of tend to go hand in hand. I'm a producer, so a lot of the times I meet artists through music, not through film. But sometimes they find out that I am actually a director or filmmaker, and that translates into them wanting me to also film the project, or I meet them through this means and we ended up collaborating on something else. So it's usually either. I meet them through film. They know that I'm a producer. We start working on some collaborations on music, or I met them through music, and we start working on some collaborations on some film production. So it usually goes like that. But with Malik Montana specifically, it's my homie from New York, JL Shada. He's originally Pop Smoke's creative director and filmmaker. He's also working with Pop Smoke's manager, Stephen Victor, right now as his creative director. He's also Malik's, let's say, primary director and cinematographer. And for this project, we just collaborated on it. He liked the way how I film. We have a similar style, similar vision, and he just hit me up for this project. And that was the first of the projects that we worked on.
Wow, because it's impressive. I've seen the clips on your Instagram page, and it was a really impressive shot.
I directed the entire thing. Like, let's say 80% of the shots, I directed them. I created the treatment for the shoot also, and the stylization of it. The camera was on. JL focused more on the DP side of it, but in terms of like lighting, I also managed the lighting setup for most of the sceneries, and yeah, it was a good collaboration. And it was also, I learned a lot from working on that set too. How different people work on stuff. You know, different methods can also bring the same results. So it was a good set, and I think our creative styles worked together for that project.
Do you feel pressure when this type of opportunities present themselves?
Honestly, no. I mean, back in the days when I wasn't sure if I knew what I was doing, I'd probably just think I probably won't be able to deliver as good as they're expecting me to. But now, I think I did enough work and did enough good work to know and believe in my capabilities that whatever I have in theory in a treatment and so forth, it can be translated that if I'm not the cinematographer or the camera operator and just working as a director on set, that the idea will still be able to be translated directly and exactly how I want it to be. I mean, not only does being a good director and instructing people how I want the shot to, but just based on the treatments and the shot list and the mood board, that they'll be able to understand thoroughly the vision that I'm trying to put out there.
So when it comes to having confidence, I think eliminating stress or pressure, it comes with the confidence that you have with your own work as well, right? When it is, if you're a good director, like if you directed some good stuff and you know your stuff is a good one, you would have less pressure. Let's say when it comes to big artists reaching you out, of course you know your stuff and you know the quality job that you do, right? But when that kind of, even when you say my if to believe that your work is quality, what do you have any other additional ingredients that you use on your work to make sure that it is quality?
I would say probably my biggest, I would say, thing in my arsenal as a filmmaker is probably the color grading of my work. You know, I feel like the color science from the camera that I use and the color grading that I use on my footage actually taps into the visual like emotions that I'm trying to show. I feel like the color grading can, you know, sonically the audio brings forth the tension, but the color grading brings forth the mood of what you're looking at. And sometimes if the color grading is off, it doesn't resonate with the viewer, the type of environment or the feeling of the environment that you're trying to evoke, you know? So you have to have a color grade that matches exactly how you want the scenery to look to the viewer. And I feel like that's one thing I mastered. And a lot of people still outsource my work for color grading. When I was in Tokyo last year, I met a huge artist there, KU. And when he was on tour, he was outsourcing my work, that he was sending me the files through Dropbox or whichever other means. If it was larger files or larger projects, I was color grading them. It was like super short, you know, because this content has to be out there super fast. I remember I was in Spain earlier this year, and I had literally less than 24 hours to color grade the entire project. And it's when I was on the plane taking off to leave to Poland, I managed to send the exported file from my computer to my phone and upload it to WeTransfer and sent it. Literally before I lost the signal to take off, because the time difference with Japan and here are so different that by the time I land in Poland, it would probably be too late to actually send the file, you know. But sometimes people are willing to wait, and they're willing to deal with the discrepancies sometimes of the time difference and so forth, just to get the type of color grading that I can give their footage, or just to be able to have me to work on their project. So in regards to time differences and so many other things that can come into the way of our not just time differences, but what you would call it, short span of time, because quick turnover for work is also super important. To be able to deliver good quality of work in a short space of time is also super important. And sometimes people can deliver work but not as fast as others, and I think that's also a good trait that I have as a filmmaker or also editor. The turnaround time is fast and the quality is consistent to what they're expecting.
That gotta be some stressful moment trying to
It is.
upload it,
It is.
upload a content that you're supposed to upload just before the plane takes off.
Literally before I lost signal, sent.
Wow.
I saw a scene. I was like,
Talking
perfect.
about risk.
Yeah.
That's a risk. Wow. So, if there's any one thing that you would like to correct in your professional world, what would it be?
Probably showing more of my work. I feel like I work on a lot of things, but some of them don't resonate with me as a person, or it doesn't reflect my creative style. And sometimes it takes me a long while before I decide to actually show any of it on social media. And I feel like I worked on a lot of good stuff, probably even better than what's even on my portfolios. But it's great to other people. It's just not good enough to what I wanted for this specific vision. So overall, it's great. Just doesn't represent how I wanted it to. I haven't showed it, and I feel like I'm sitting on more work unposted in my archive than what's actually out there. And I feel like next year, besides working on new stuff, I want to start posting a lot of the things and the work that I did that are super proud pieces, but I just never found the courage to actually share it because I thought it didn't fit certain, it didn't tick all the boxes for me. And I feel like a lot of good work still has some flaws in it, and I should still post and share the work regardless of perfection or not. So I feel
Yeah.
like that's what I want to work on, to just share more of the work and not be too much of a perfectionist, and just still share the process or share some example or sample of the work.
No, definitely. Yeah, the more you share your work, I think you might be the one who sees the imperfections, but people will see the perfections to it.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
Yeah, because you're a professional, and professional's eyes is, I think, different
Yeah,
from a regular person's eye. Right.
completely. There's many times where I think something is not good and everybody's going crazy over it. And there's other times when I think, this is the best thing, and nobody really
Yeah.
cares about it. So, your judgment can be off sometimes too. It's not always 100%.
Yeah. So for beginners like who's trying to do videography or any type of professional, especially when it comes to video itself, what would it be the last advice you would give us?
I mean, the same thing I just said. Put the work out there. You can't be the judge of your own work. You have to put the work out there and let other people evaluate it also. You have to share the work, and sometimes the opinion of someone else can really guide you in a direction that you didn't even know. Because sometimes you really are super keen on perfection and perfectionism that you never actually do share the work, and you sit on a lot of work where you could just share what you have and where you are, and sometimes just being able to reflect on what's out there give you insight and show you how you're growing, and show you from the level you're coming from, and that also can motivate you. But overall, just so people know what you're working on, no one knows what's on your computer. No one knows what's on your hard drive. No one knows what's on your, your storage device. You have to put the work out there for other people to judge it. You can always be the only and sole person who has the first and only opinion on your work. Other people has to judge it, assess it, and sometimes it's even better than you think it is. And just by the feedback from people can motivate you to actually keep going and not stopping at that landmark where it's like at this place where it decides if you either continue and do great or you quit just before it actually works out. So you have to put the work out there, and there's no other way around it. You have to put the work out there. Imperfect, perfect, half done, at whatever stage it is, you just have to put the work out there.
Yeah, definitely. We put the work out there, guys. Like if you are working on videos, music, whatever it is, put it out. Like our
And
podcast.
not only just putting it out there, also trying stuff, I think people are so stuck on good results and final results that they get stuck on just producing the same mediocre work that works. But to be honest, the best work that I ever did was when I was experimenting or when things went wrong and I just think fast and, remedy it real quick and find a solution. So I feel like sometimes you have to really experiment, try things and use your gear. You can't be scared to use your gear. I'll be having my expensive camera on the side of a car on some flimsy car mount just to get the shot. But that's just, the more you risk to get the shot and to get an interesting shot and an interesting perspective, it's just the better final results you will have. So you have to take the risk and you have to use the gear, and that's
the
pretty much it.
the more risk, the more reward.
The more risk, the more reward.
And when let's go to your music, then you don't only direct and also film, but also you do music, and you
I'm
got
a composer.
millions of listeners,
Millions,
millions of listens, and millions of streams. That's a lot. Like for example, for a person who produces music and also a filmmaker, I believe that's a really good achievement. How did you go intertwined with the music production and also with your film production as well?
Funny enough, I started both around the same time, but at every given time, I always had like a moment where I was just few months just on film or a few months locked in on music. And I was telling a homie I had one time about the dilemma, like I could never really balance both of them at the same time, because some people who knows me through music don't take me seriously as a filmmaker, and some people who knows me as a good director or filmmaker doesn't take me seriously as a artist or a musician, And my homie was saying, you got to integrate both of them. You got to make your own work and put it in your films, or integrate your music knowledge on your films, like sound design, and put more sound design into your videos and try to transfer the knowledge from each to the other, And I started doing that. Like I started to put my own music in my own projects. Whenever I was doing like passion projects, I used to use my own music, my own sound design, my own soundscapes in my projects just to see how it works out. And eventually, I did produce good results with it. So, yeah.
Yeah. And when did it start getting you more feedbacks?
Funny enough, when I just started to make music, I used to go crazy with like overdoing it. I just wanted to make really good stuff, so I put way more into it. But then I started to realize like less is more. I could make a really crazy track or a beat with just 5 sounds. And back in the days, I had 16 different tracks with different percussions, drums, different instruments. I was going crazy on the arrangements and everything. And now, even recently, I did a track with Kazbogan, and he's like top 10 Polish artist. Even this year, he was listed as the top 10 artist in Poland. And I sent him like a demo beat. I sent him a pack of like 10 beats, and a demo beat was in the pack. And he texted me back like 2 hours with the demo beat saying like, yeah, this is the best beat out of the whole pack. The one that I didn't even finish properly. It was just a demo beat, And he even recorded a whole track for his album that's coming out early next year. with the same demo beat. I just sent him the stems, but I didn't even change the arrangement. I didn't fix nothing with the track. It was the same demo beat, the same arrangement, the unfinished track, and now it's a song that's gonna be on his album.
Wow.
So sometimes, as I'm saying, you just got to put the work out there, because you can't always determine the quality of stuff. Other people have their own perception and their own feelings about it, you know?
Yeah, the way we consume content is different for everybody. Is different. Where the way you see the work that you did and the way that I see it is gonna be different.
Two completely different
Two
things.
completely different. And the person who actually worked on it would probably see the negative side of it, because you would be like, oh, I didn't work on this stuff more, because you know the truth in your side, and I don't know the truth.
There's some form of guilt.
Yeah, the form of guilt. You'd be like, I didn't.
Creative guilt or something.
Yeah. So you'd be like, I didn't do much on this side of it, so I don't want to put it out. But once you put it out, the people will react to it very
And
differently.
it's always like that.
Yeah, it's always like that. Yeah.
Every time I had like some situation where I gave someone like a demo piece of work or unfinished thing, and I'm trying to explain, like, you know, it's only just a demo or it's unfinished, they always think it's the best piece of work ever. And the things that I'm super proud of, they usually don't feel the same way about it. So that's what I'm saying. Put the work out there, because things that you might put on a pedestal might be mediocre to someone else, and things that you might think is not good enough might be the best thing someone else has ever heard. So, you know, but yeah,
Wow. How did the collaboration with this artist came about?
funny enough, you know, this guy was the first major placement I ever had in Poland, and that was like 2 years or 3 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, 3 years ago, my first major placement with a Polish artist was with this guy. And since then, we have mutual homies, like some guys from Hałastra. They're probably the only like rap duo in Poland that still makes hardcore street rap in Poland, and they have like huge respect from a lot of like OG Polish artists, and many people. Just they just have a huge following, even though they're not like necessarily the biggest artists in Poland, but they have like a cult following that people respect their music. And we all meet on some events or on a show. Like last weekend, he had a show in Warsaw. You know, pulled up and we linked up and we spoke about music and stuff like this. But it was just through mutual people. Plus, as I said, I'm a filmmaker. I did one of his big debuts this year, the music video for this song. I don't know if I can say the title because it's some.
It's some. You cannot say it.
No, the title is, I don't know if you bleep it out, but it's Hood Rat Shit.
Okay.
And it's basically, the song had like 2 million streams already. And I did the music video, and this music video also has over 1 million, or probably even 2 million streams already. And that was a few months ago. So I did that video for him, and that's what I'm saying. I did my first song with him and also did his music video. So I worked with him on 2 different aspects, and we linked up also to finalize, because he's very specific about his vision that he also likes to have some creative control over. We linked up, we changed some stuff, added some scenes and whatever, until we had the final good product of this music video. And yeah, from time to time, we ran into each other's studio until we started to follow each other on Instagram. And now he's also just a homie, you know. We're sending each other memes all the time. Like, I can probably check my phone right now and he probably sent me some 4 memes of some completely unrelated thing from music, you know, just on personal, just like friend level, not just as an artist or a co-worker or something. It's good to just build relationships with people, because we're also homies outside of music now and outside of working.
Yeah, to basically find close friends. That's what it is. Like building a close relationship outside of the business aspect of it.
And it also positively impact the business aspect, because working with people who you're familiar with and understand them more on different levels make doing business easier with them, in my opinion, when you have some level of familiarity.
Yeah, I would believe so as well. Like when you work with someone who you know more, I think you'll start trusting them more, and you'll give them more responsibilities in regards to your own work as well.
Yeah, and then vice versa, because they'll trust you more with their vision too.
Yeah.
So
that will really positively impact the creative world as well. I believe creativity needs freedom, and freedom is given to you, and different in for when you're working for different artists, freedom is given to you by trust. When they trust you more, they will, I think
I
they will
believe
give you
so
the
too.
freedom.
And not and the trust comes from, you know, being able to deliver consistently. You know, when you tell someone that you're able to do something, or you present it to them like that, and you consistently provide results, I think people trust your vision a little bit more. That whatever ideas you have usually actually play out in the way how you all envisioned it to be. You know, so I feel like being consistent and providing good work and meeting the standard that you set out there consecutively also builds like the most trust with your partnership with whoever you're working with.
What's the one culture shock that you faced when you came to Poland?
The one culture shock I faced when I came to Poland is this one is a little bit more inward because I was surprised how many people knew about my culture. You know, I'm from like a small island. It's like 3 million people.
I mean, Jamaica
You
is
know,
very
so
popular, man.
but that's the thing. You know,
Yeah.
for us as Jamaicans, we're from a small little island. You know, it's like third biggest Caribbean country, but it's all islands and it's like an archipelago of islands. You know, it's really small islands. We don't have more than 3-4 million per country in the Caribbean. You know, very small countries. And whenever we come all the way to Europe or in the US, and people understand our cultural influence or our culture, sometimes I'm super shocked that people understand my culture or they're interested in my culture. You know, because we're a third world country and we don't think we're that important in the grand scheme of everything. So when people are interested in my culture, I was just super. I started to appreciate my culture even more when I came to Europe because of how people appreciate it. I was like, I didn't even know that I had it that good being Jamaican or had this many things to be proud of being Jamaican. And when I came here, it kind of highlighted a lot of things that wasn't really in my scope that I was thinking about or even reflecting on to think, oh, this is a perk of being Jamaican or being Caribbean. You know what I'm saying? So that
Yeah, yeah. Because yeah, Jamaica is the big. I think you might be small in size, but it's one of the
big
the big
influence.
influence in general in the world. Basically, a lot of things, especially from the music. I think Bob Marley will put it on the map as well, like
Yeah,
with a lot of good music that he have in reggae side, and Cartel. A lot of people listen to him outside of Jamaica as well, and it's really fascinating to hear from your side how you perceive how that culture
yeah.
is really known in outside of the Jamaica as well.
And even now, I started to work with more Jamaican artists too, because before I was working with more like American, European artists, and in recent years I started to work with more Jamaican artists and tap back in with this side of music, and it's actually gone well. Like I could say, the top 5% of the people who are making the biggest hits and biggest songs in Jamaica right now, I have either some affiliation with them or have projects working on with them currently. So probably in 2026 I'll have some good success from some project that I'll do with some collaborator. So let's see.
Wow, this type of this you see, these are the connections that I'm looking for, like the connections that you make in regards to your art, not only you as an artist but also
hmm
as a person as well, to how you communicate with people, how you talk to them. It really impacts, I believe, right?
Yeah, but overall, it's not only about who has interest in me too. You know, you have to also reach out to people. You know, I had countless of people who saw my DMs and never responded, and a lot of people who still haven't even seen my messages till years after. They're like, "Hi, I didn't even see a message from 3 years ago. Yes, we can still like work." You know, because I was reaching out to a lot of people too, like, you know, hi, I do this kind of work, and this is the inspos I have. I think our styles, you know, match, and we could make some great content, or we can do this kind of projects, etc., etc. Or based on even some of the spec work I was doing with people, a lot of people saw my work and hit me up to do simple projects or even high paid jobs where their following also introduced me to a new following of people, and a new market of people, and yeah. So you have to reach out to people also. You can't just sit and expect that all of the things are gonna come to you. You have to reach out to people who interest you also, and that their work also inspire you. And you never know, people might be watching from a distance, or people might be interested in your work also.
And not fearing rejection as well.
Well, me, I don't care. I'll send 100 DMs a day to people, like 1,000 DMs. It doesn't matter how much I have to send, honestly.
Yeah.
So people always wonder like how I meet some people. Of course, it's as I'm saying, I do music. I meet a lot of people through very peculiar means, some backstage of some concert or something, or at some event. But in general, I feel like I reached out to a lot of people that I also know now, that it was just based off my efforts and my interest in also their work that we ended up collaborating. And this happened with also Polish artist Kukon. I had a song on this album that came out a month ago, and that song came out. That song was finished from last year December. It just came out a month ago. But I was sending him beats from back then, and I was like, "Yo, I got some beats to send you," and he was like, "For sure, bro. Like, here's my email," and I was sending him some beats until his manager hit me up saying, let's work out the, logistics of this beat, whatever. We signed the contract. I got paid a year ago for a song that just came out. So sometimes you have to reach out to people too, because sometimes they just literally don't know of you. They never seen your work before, and you have to introduce your work to people also. It's not always people discovering you, but you can also introduce your work to people who you're interested in working with. So it goes both ways,
Yeah.
You can't just sit and wait for it to
Yeah,
come to
for
you
someone
all
to
the time.
discover you.
No, you have to make the conscious effort to put yourself out there and to work. And a lot of times when you just begin, you have to do a lot of spec work. You have to do a lot of free work too, You can't just expect to just, you invest some money in some equipment and immediately you should be a millionaire of this thing, You have to put a lot of hours in experimenting. And these times are the best times because you get to experiment on projects that are free. And if you mess up, you have time to fix it, or you can just learn from the experience, not on a paid job and a paid project where there's no room for mistakes or room to reshoot or redo things. The budget is there, you already spend it. So these are the perfect moments to actually experiment and work on things with people to test if the ideas in your head can actually be executed.
Yeah. And yeah, it's basically a training ground for you, like for the start. It's basically a training ground, right?
It exactly so.
If you try enough, if you do enough on that period, you'll have a lot more relaxed professional life in the future. That's what it is.
Exactly so.
Wow. And you told me that you don't get stressed when this type of opportunities present themselves.
Nah.
S-
I know. I
Is
feel
there
like
any
I've been
routine?
waiting. First of all, you gotta charge your equipment, man. You have to always you have to be prepared for the work that you're waiting for all the time. You keep saying you want this kind of jobs, you want this kind of work. You have to be prepared for them. A lot of opportunities came to me last minute. People wanted me to be in New York. I'm there 2 or 3 days before notice. People want me to fly to there same day, the day before notice. A lot of times people think it's like luck, but it's really luck sometimes. But sometimes you really have to position yourself and be available and ready for a lot of these opportunities, And I feel like I put myself in places and made sure I was prepared. So you have to always be prepared. My camera bag is always packed, filled, and charged. Someone can call me 2 hours before a set, and even if it's a small, quick set, I'll be able to make it there. I don't have to worry about charging up equipment, emptying SD cards, emptying hard drives, none of that. All of the stuff is already locked in and ready for an opportunity that's waiting, Of course, you have to get some equipment sometime from some rental places if it requires this, but a lot of times you have to just be ready for the opportunities, so that they don't pass you, they don't miss you, or it skips to someone else. You have to be ready for these things. And
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I pride myself in being prepared for this.
Wow. Yeah. It's
So
like
when you literally when you have these things covered, it takes out the stress of did I forget this? Did I pack this bag? Did I put this there? My SD card is full? You know, all of those the simple things that you might be stressed out about. You already have those things covered because you're prepared. And when you're on set, you can only just focus on creatively locking in the things the right way because you're prepared, you're packed, you have everything that you need, you're equipped, and you can just focus on actually producing the work instead of simple things. Because I can't count the amount of times that I left the SD card or I left a cable that powers my gimbal. I have to go back a couple hours to get it back, and you know, just one simple cable changes how your workflow works, and it might be the one thing that makes everything not work in the way that you want it to work. So you have to really be prepared.
Yeah, be prepared, and I hope our production team is listening as well. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, when it comes to color grading and stuff as well, I think I'm also most interested when it comes to color grade. First of all, I'm a really beginner editor. I'm trying to edit my own stuff, and at color grading, I think is one of the hard. You do it on Adobe Reader or Adobe Premiere
My
or
color grading, I
yeah.
use DaVinci Resolve.
DaVinci Resolve.
I
That's
started off on Adobe though, you know. I was Adobe.
yeah. But which one is the most professional? I think DaVinci Resolve is like professional type.
All right, if you're a beginner and you need something that comes with, you know, if you're looking for a good ecosystem, I feel like Premiere and Adobe Suite works good for you, especially if you're working on smaller cameras or working with smaller file sizes. Adobe got you. You have the bridge dynamic link. You can move stuff from Photoshop to Illustrator, and it's it's an ecosystem that works well with each other. That you can have a better workflow because everything is compatible with each other. But for me, I passed that stage of needing compatibility, and I just needed better results and a better workflow that works for me. So I started to use DaVinci Resolve because the color grading is the most important for me, and my workflow with color grading works better there. It was hard learning the shortcuts and understanding this program because I spent years using Adobe, Photoshop, Lightroom, all of these programs just to switch over to DaVinci. But I shoot on Blackmagic, and Blackmagic is the B-raw is native to DaVinci Resolve, and that's the only software that can process these files without some extensions and a bunch of plugins. So it's compatible straight out the box. It reads my files, and like I can color grade like perfectly in this software, and it took me some time to learn it. Even now I still don't know everything about this program. It just fits my workflow, It's like I don't know every aspect of this program. I'm still learning how to use it like every day. I'm still learning new things about how to color grade better or how to edit or find new shortcuts that work for me. But that's the thing, you don't have to know everything inside and out, or you don't have to know everything 100% to still provide results or to get results. I feel like people think they have to master something before they can actually get good results or do good work, but you have to just try and practice until the workflow fits yours, and then you can always learn the technicalities afterwards. You just have to have a workflow that fits you, and a workflow that you understand. Everybody's workflow is different.
Yeah, for beginners, you say Adobe Premiere because of the compatibility and but I use CapCut, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I use CapCut. Like I think that's the best beginner tool that is.
If you're shooting on mobile, I think CapCut, but I feel like once you start working with some 4K,
Some 4K
files
yeah.
or some stuff like that, or you need to have better audio processing or something like that, you're gonna need at least a good, DAW, a good workstation for that kind of stuff. But I feel like on the beginner side, Adobe. Also, if you're a student, you get discounts using Adobe Suite, so it just works like that. And when you're trying to get into more in-depth stuff and into the more of the color science of things, DaVinci, because you really will have to know what you're doing in DaVinci. You know, you can't just slap a lot on anything no more.
Yeah,
You have to really be
I saw the
intentional.
interface of DaVinci. I was like, wait, hold on, I'm not there yet.
I had the same thing the first time I was using it, but
Yeah.
over time, I got more confident, and you know, I just watch a lot of YouTube. As I said, I just have a few creators that their style visually match mine, or how they explain things. I understand them from a specific point of view, and I feel like it correlates with my workflow. So I just lock into those people, and yeah, I mean, you have people like Volondes, you have people like Gox, JR, you have people like Ser, Melior Studios, and there's a few others. I'd have to really look into my YouTube.
I mean, we would have to put the links on the down in the
yeah,
description.
I'll give you the links to those. And who else? There's a few creators that I just religiously watch all the time for just the technical side of it, and just some people just go into it in a creative way of storytelling. They're not too complex and they're not too technical. They're just like vibes and just, you know, more of an art direction or a creative direction standpoint. And I feel like you need that balance, because the creative side is good, but you still need to understand the technicalities to be able to reproduce the work over and over. Because if something goes bad in your workflow and you're just doing it based off just learned memory or whatever, you won't know what to fix to keep the results consistent, or to keep a consistent product in general. So you have to know at least somewhat what you're doing. You can't just, it's not just vibes all the time. You know, you have to know what you're doing.
Have you faced any crazy stories when you worked on professional level?
Every set is a crazy story, honestly.
Pick the crazier and tell us.
I mean, crazy in what sense though? Because there's many levels to crazy.
I mean, you can go to whatever level you want.
I'd have to think on that, because I don't really want to out nobody, you know, because most of the people I work with are famous. So
Yeah.
I think if I start telling a story, it's gonna be very relatable and people will know exactly who I'm pointing to. So I'd rather just skip that one for now.
Okay. No worries. All right, guys. Now we are on the quick fire question segment. But before that, I want to say happy holidays, Merry Christmas. let me correct myself. I want to say happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and I wish you a wonderful New Year as well. So let's go to a quick fire questions. So studio shoots or street videos?
Street videos. I feel like I see more in my environment than regular people, and a lot of times people ask me about the location that I used, and it's literally in a familiar place. You just have to know how to visualize and use your spaces differently. So I feel like you could get way more inspiration being outside than just being confined to a studio, you know? If you don't have like a set designer or something more intricate, it's just going to kind of be boring kind of in the studio. So outdoors, yeah,
Okay.
ideal.
One word to describe your 2024.
But 2020,
One word to describe your 2025.
2025, I'd say it was good. It was a lot of newness, like a lot of changes happened, and in a good way. A lot of new things, new projects, new relationships with, you know, people I'm working with. I feel like now I'm on a level where it's more stable, where I have more meaningful relationships in this industry, where I work with less people, but better projects and a better experience on set because of the familiarity I have with the client, you know?
How would you like your 2026 would be?
I would like it to be filled with travels and family, and I'd just like to have meaningful work, you know? Not just work, but work that is meaningful, that fulfills me, and I'm proud to share and proud to represent myself with it. So Yeah.
Storyboarder or no, storyboard or freestyle shooting?
You gotta have a storyboard. Freestyle shooting, I do that a lot, and that's if you are doing like a music video or some run and gun kind of situation where you're kind of just having fun with it. But in a professional setting, you have to at least have an idea of what you want to shoot, because post production is way more difficult if you don't do pre-prod. Like if you don't set up a lot of things in the pre-production stage, everything in editing is going to be 10 times more difficult when you just shot a bunch of random things and then you're trying to make sense of it afterwards, instead of making sense of it in the pre-production and having a storyboard, a shot list, and have at least some idea of what you want to capture, than to just capture a bunch of randomness and try to make sense out of it. That's usually the hardest stage of any like editor's job, when you just have a bunch of things, content, and then you have to try to create some storyline around just randomness, and that's just never really good.
All right. Big budget or big freedom?
Big budget always, because with big budget, I feel like you approach a job more optimistically in any way, and once you give the client what they want, you can, if there's some time left, you can always freestyle a little bit and still show that it can implement a little bit of your ideas and, you know, mix it with the original idea. Obviously the client idea evidently wins in the end, but you have to have substantial work first, you know, to be able to. And I feel like a big budget just motivates anyone to produce. Even if it's boring work to me, it's still going to produce good work for the client. So a big budget is always a good motivator.
So one last one. Your big next move.
My big next move is to. A lot of people always ask me about some courses or something. Probably I'll try to monetize some aspect of that next year. But I feel like my next move is to spend more time in New York. I feel like I have a good clientele there. I have a lot of other colleagues there and a lot of opportunities there. And I feel like I'd like to spend a little bit more time outside of Poland and lock in with the clientele I have overseas. And I feel like I want to start living half in Poland, half in New York, and try to have a good balance in the middle. So that's the move for next year.
That's great. That's it. And yeah, we'll just like that. We're gonna pass to one of my favorite segment of the show.
Yeah.
And yeah, let's jump to it. Let's jump to it. Let's jump to it. But before I jump in, where can people find you and your work?
It's usually Lxrd Kevii across every platform. My email is beatsbylord for anyone who wants to send me some music to check out or anything really. And yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Lxrd Kevii, on YouTube at Lxrd Kevii, on Spotify at Lxrd Kevii.
So you can find him everywhere at Lxrd Kevii,
Yeah.
and we're gonna put all of his social media on the bottom of our video, which is on the description. And we are in the segment that we celebrate our audience. I mean, we are in the segment that we celebrate our guests for their achievement. I know people don't get a lot of time to celebrate their own achievements,
That's
and
facts.
yeah, they you might overlook some of your achievements. So I hopefully they will give you a chance to celebrate those moments you haven't celebrated. So yeah, we want you to open this bottle and yeah,
Set to it.
hopefully not injure yourself or us.
I'll try.
The crew is hiding.
Gotta be super.
The cameraman is nowhere to be seen. Okay.
Super careful with that.
Oh yeah. No. That's a nice pop. That's a loud pop. Yeah, perfection. That's a nice pop.
I'm super focused. Locked in.
You're locked in. Like you said, you always go for perfection, right?
Right.
So cheers for all the achievements that you have done this year. And next year will be a blessing and a really good year for you and for us as well. Yeah, cheers.
All right, hopefully.
Yes. Yeah, for people who are not who are not here, yeah, I tasted it and it's really good. So hopefully you guys are enjoying your holidays as well. Thank you very much for watching. And yeah, I didn't ask you though. Do you have any other things that you want to say?
Only thing I'd add is like I'd like for next year to see more, not just black, but our African, just people of our community to just lock in and find some common interest and help each other to grow in whichever way it is. I feel like to community is super important, and especially being here where none of us are actually from. It's nice to build a community where you can find resources in each other and find community in each other. So, yeah.
Exactly. So you heard the message, guys. Lock in. 2026 is our year. And yeah, so if you're listening until this point, like, share, subscribe, and yeah, help us push to 300 subscribers, even millions in the future and in the coming year as well. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.
So
See ya.